Hey everyone, today we're jumping into a classic Aesop's fable. You know, the frogs and the ox. But we're not just going to retell some old story. Nope. We are going to tear it apart to figure out its timeless message about ambition, about how we see the world, and most importantly, about knowing our own limits.
So let's kick things off with the one question this whole story really boils down to. When does that drive to be bigger, to be better, to be more, cross a line and just become destructive? Let's keep that in the back of our minds as we go through this.
All right, let's get right into the story. We're starting right in the middle of the action, because the thing that kicks off this whole tragedy, it isn't some grand evil scheme. It's just a sudden, random accident.
So, picture this. You've got this peaceful, quiet little pool full of reeds. It's this tiny, self-contained world for a family of frogs. You know, everything's calm, everything's normal.
And then, this massive force from the outside world shows up. An ox. Now for the ox, this little pool is nothing more than a spot to get a drink. He's huge, he's powerful, and he has absolutely no idea about the tiny world living right under his hooves. He's not evil, he's just there.
So the ox slumbers into the water, and just like that, a young frog is gone, crushed. It's this tragic, totally random event that sets everything else in motion. A life is lost, not because of hate, but because of sheer, unthinking size.
Okay, so the event itself is one thing, but here's where it gets really interesting. What truly matters is how the survivors see it, and maybe even more importantly, how they talk about it. Now listen to the words they use here. The frogs who saw it, they don't run back and say, "Hey, an ox accidentally stepped on our brother." No way. They say, "A great big monster did it." See what they did? They turned a simple animal into a mythical creature. And that one little change escalates the whole situation.
And when the old frog hears this story, she doesn't just hear about a tragedy, she hears a challenge. It's not just fear or sadness she feels. It's her own status, her own size, her own importance being questioned. Her pride is officially on the line. And this is it, the first test. It's a question that comes straight from her ego, right? She's not really asking for information. She's setting herself up as the benchmark. She's making this whole horrible accident about her.
And here you see that pride in action. She literally tries to inflate herself, to puff up her own importance to match the story she just heard. This is her first shot at taking on this so-called monster by trying to become it.
But reality comes knocking. The little frogs, the ones who are actually there, they're not impressed. They're just like, no, way bigger. And with that simple, honest answer, they accidentally throw down an even bigger challenge to her pride.
So what does she do? She doubles down. Instead of just listening to them, she completely rejects what they're saying and pushes herself even further. You can feel the tension building, right? Her ambition is now in a head-to-head battle with the facts.
And this, right here, is the breaking point. This is that moment where trying hard turns into pure delusion. It's where her ambition completely disconnects from any sense of reality or what's even possible.
Pay close attention to what she says. He could not have been bigger. That's not a question anymore, is it? It's a statement. She's basically defying reality itself. She's telling everyone, and probably herself, that her own limits are the only limits that matter.
But the warnings just keep on coming. The evidence is staring her right in the face, repeated by everyone. The ox was bigger, much bigger. They're telling her the truth, practically begging her to see that what she's trying to do is impossible.
But she just doesn't listen. She's so driven by this ego that just can't accept its own limits. She keeps pushing, straining against her own body, puffing herself up more and more until, well, the inevitable finally happens.
And that's it, game over. The basic laws of biology just take over in the most final way you can imagine. Her ambition, completely untied from reality, ends up destroying her.
Okay, wow. So now that the story is told, let's take a step back and really break down the powerful lesson hiding in this little tragedy. What are we supposed to take away from all this?
The fable is pretty blunt about its moral, right? Do not attempt the impossible. Now, this isn't about telling you to give up on your dreams. Not at all. It's a warning to know the difference between a goal that's a real stretch and a goal that is just, literally impossible.
And what we just saw is a perfect example of a concept called hubris. You see, the frog's downfall wasn't really caused by the ox. It was caused by her own insane pride. her refusal to accept that something else in the world could be greater than she was, or at least greater than she could ever possibly be.
And that really gets to the heart of the conflict here. On one hand, you have healthy ambition. It's based in reality. It's about actually growing. But then you have the frog's destructive pride. It's driven by envy, and it completely ignores limitations. The ox is just this natural, unaware power, while the frog's pride, when it's unchecked like that, it just leads to ruin.
So I guess I'll just leave you with this one final thought. The frog's ox was a real creature she could never hope to be. So the question for us is, what are the oxen in our own lives? What are those impossible standards, those people we compare ourselves to, that if we're not careful, could lead us to just keep puffing ourselves up until we burst?